Alrighty then, what is up everybody? I am back here. It's been a couple weeks now. Took a bit of a break. I had a couple regionals back to back that I kind of traveled for, and I had a couple of other stuff coming up in my life. And I was like, you know what? We made it to about a 30-day streak of daily uploads. Let's take a bit of a break. But I'm back now, and I'm gonna go ahead and finish up this character series we have here. Originally, I said I was gonna probably make one video for the remaining low tiers. I've decided not to do that. I will go ahead and finish up the low tiers one video at a time. I basically at my regional there was a couple high level low tiers. There was a TPN, the Link main, Captain, the Game and Watch, and I realized, you know what? Every low tier main, every region has one low tier. You know, so if you're the Kirby region and you're like, I kind of want a video for this Kirby guy in my region, well, it's like, let's go ahead and complete the library. You know, the library of Babylon will exist into the future, and we will have a video for every character. After that, I'll figure out what I'm gonna do. I might do personal improvement content and stuff like that, but we'll see from there. But for now, 10 more videos on the low tiers. Today though is gonna be Yoshi. Yoshi's kind of a hard video to make. It's one of the harder scripts, if you will. I don't like necessarily write out a script, but I do script that, like the little bullet points on the side here, and this was the harder one to make. And it's not just because my heart yearns for Yoshi and this feels a sense of betrayal, but Yoshi's just a weirdo character. I think Yoshi, the matchup kind of is like Ice Climbers. Essentially, there's the category of mid tiers that just die to Falco options, and then the category of mid tiers that die to counterplay. Ice Climbers are a character you need to learn all their tricks and mechanics in order to play the matchup well. Yoshi's kind of like that. Once you learn all the tricks and mechanics that Yoshi has, he's left with very little, but Yoshi has plenty of answers to all the normal Falco things. So if you just come into this matchup and play like any other matchup, you will have a very hard time with this matchup. But Falco is actually very good at all the anti-Yoshi counterplay, but you need to very consciously be doing it. So that's going to be kind of the focus on this video. It's going to be the most common sort of like Yoshi styles or chump checks, or I don't know what you want to call them, things that require counterplay, essentially. Weirdo styles that Yoshi are specific to him. No other players, no other characters kind of does these options that I'm about to talk about. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the series still, despite the break. I'm happy to be back here. I would like to remind everyone I have still been doing coaching throughout all of this. My second channel has been uploading all the lessons. It's starting to have quite a lot of videos there now. So if you are interested in coaching, you can check out my Discord. If you're interested in coaching videos, you can check out my second channel. It also has a lot of other characters like Fox, Yoshi, Peach. There's like quite a few other characters now. So if you're interested in some sort of my content, but you want other characters, my second channel is probably the place for that. So without further ado, let's hop into it. The first style I want to talk about here is platforms. This is kind of like the most notorious one. People talk about Yoshi and they're like, Yoshi is broken on platforms. Well, there's two main things I want to talk about. It's forward air and shield drops. So forward air is like a really common one that just like really catches people. And it's most of the time it's going to be something like this. It's going to be the top platform forward air. So I'm going to turn off, let's see, let's do it this way first. So this is a very common thing where it's like this forward air from the top platform can explode Falco and kill you at 0. And a lot of Yoshis will sort of spam this option. It's very easy and tempting for Yoshi. It's a huge neutral skip. Yoshi can do it from the ground, double jump all the way to the top, and then do the forward air. The thing to keep in mind is that Yoshi from the top platform is kind of threatening exactly one or two spots on the stage. The forward air covers exactly this spot or this spot. And Yoshi can also waveland off and up air maybe over here. The exact center is kind of a blind spot unless Yoshi shield drops straight down, which is slower and tends to not be forward air. Also, Yoshi does not have a hitbox or a jump on the way down. So this entire time that Yoshi's traveling on the way down, no hitbox, no jump. One of Yoshi's most vulnerable positions. So there's a few answers that you can have to this. Number one exploits the fact that Yoshi has no jump and no hitbox. So this is one of my favorite options. I call it the drive-by up air. You just kind of short hop up air through center. If Yoshi does this option, it is a read. It's not like a reactable timing that you can just see Yoshi doing the forward air and up air him, but it's a timing that you can kind of know if this is on the table. For example, in this, the setup is Yoshi's double jump wave landing. As the wave land starts, I do the up air. If they do the forward air, you get a combo on a jumpless Yoshi. This is potentially a kill at 0, right? So anytime you can do this drive-by up air, extremely risk-free because you're driving through center with an up air that protects you from the forward air, and then you're out of the way. You can go right to the other side and then, you know, play around forward air from the other side or whatever. So Yoshi doesn't have super dynamic offense from the top platform. He just has this extremely strong forward air that is very exploitable and potentially risky. You can imagine this up air is kind of hard to combo at 0, but if you get this up air at like 50, it might just be one back air away from the kill, right? Because this is a jumpless Yoshi. So very powerful option. Number two is I'm going to show that's kind of like you can space around it. Like I said, this one exploits the fact that Yoshi is only threatening one specific spot. In order to do this forward air, Yoshi is using the jump and then the forward air and the fast fall. Yoshi can no longer switch his momentum in the air again. So normally Yoshi has this problem where he jumps and he can armor or switch his momentum. Yoshi loses those options when he does his forward air. So the moment the forward air is committed to, you just space around the exact spot the forward air is at, and then you whiff punish it. This one doesn't get you a combo on jumpless Yoshi, but it does get you a full combo on Yoshi. So whatever combo you want to do is going to be pretty good here. And that's going to be most of it for the top platform. Just don't get hit by it is number one, but do exploit it, because if you just let these go over and over again, Yoshi's going to feel like they're flying around the stage over and over again, and you don't have much counterplay. So you have to kill Yoshi for doing these sometimes, in addition to pretty much never getting hit by the forward air. So number two is going to be the side platform stuff. So this is kind of a common one where like Yoshi will waveland off the platform over here and fast fall up air. This is very much so the same as every other character, for the record. This is like Marth run off forward air, Sheik run off forward air, Spacey run off down air. So the easiest way to deal with this is going to be, so the option I showed here is kind of spacing a bear here. This bear is very difficult for Yoshi. When you're right here, Yoshi can't really, you know, shield drop up air, and the shield drop waveland doesn't deal with back air very well. So if you're just going to be like spamming moves over here, in order for Yoshi to waveland off and then armor this, he would have to fast fall before the back air is already there. So you can kind of do this back air retreating. You get a hitbox that just stuffs Yoshi from running off, and then Yoshi goes right back to the platform. Yoshi doesn't really get to shield drop this or shield drop waveland off of this. Yoshi tends to have to play this pretty honestly. Just go down to the ground and start crouching and playing from ground game. Otherwise, Yoshi just has to leave and go to the top platform. But we've already figured out how to deal with the top platform. So you kind of like cut off these two main angles of attack. Yoshi can't attack you directly from the side or from the top. And then it starts to feel like Yoshi's kind of unproductive on platforms. He just wavelands around and not much is happening, right? So it's just like, we don't care as much now. We're able to be patient because we know that if either of these attacks come, we're going to be able to kill him. And then next is going to be just the normal shield drop option. So people often just talk about like shield drop up air being a big problem. Yoshi, if you don't know, has no shield stun. So this means that Yoshi has the best or fastest shield drop in the game, and everything is unsafe on the egg basically, unless you do a super spaced move or you do empty pressure like this. So just like jumping at him and he's like waiting, like from the Yoshi's perspective here, this is kind of stressful. You're kind of like, okay, I'm gonna shield drop up air, and then they like don't do anything and you're like, oh crap, and it's very hard to react to the fact that no hitbox came. You're already prepped for the shield drop, and now if you shield drop, you're gonna fall into an up tilt. This is a very common trap. It's not guaranteed. Some Yoshis will see this and just leave and go to the top platform again, but again, it's like step one of defeating Yoshi is not falling for these traps that could kill you at zero, right? These are a bunch of traps and there's just way too many of them. So if you're just like not ready for these, you will lose the game. And it's like, this might seem like a very simple answer, and it doesn't solve the matchup because of course Yoshi can just choose not to engage. There is stalemate aspects of this matchup for sure, but step one of like the stalemate is to kind of like not die to it. So you can see like in this recording, I did up tilt and then just a drive-by back air back to center. A lot of this matchup is just like discipline, like hold your positions. It's not quite center because Yoshi doesn't play by traditional like stage control of like center stage. Yoshi is threatening specific spots on the stage from specific spots on the platforms and then defending specific spots on the platform. So as long as you respect all of these, the platform game starts to make sense, demystified. It no longer feels like Yoshi can attack everywhere at any time, and then you're like, okay, now I can target these specific things. So that's going to be number one, the platform-based game. It's kind of complicated. It's like, once you learn it, it's pretty simple, but it is kind of complicated. So I have a few recordings here, so I'm going to switch to Yosh 1 over here. So Yosh 1. So this is going to be point 2, which is defense. So parry and armor. So this is kind of a common thing that Yoshis will do. So it's like, Yoshis will sit here and then crouch. So the most common way that people lose to Yoshi on the ground is doing the earliest down air of all time like this. Yoshi gets the easiest parry of all time, and then Yoshi gets a full combo. And this is potentially a wobble. Like whenever Yoshi gets a parry on an approaching early aerial, if Yoshi's fast enough, the parry nair can potentially hit you in the air, and that can just kill you even at 0. Otherwise, once Yoshi gets you to knockdown percent, this is extremely scary because like a parry up air can knock you down pretty early at like 20, and then that's a kill. So this is extremely important not to do. This down air is like, there's some value in it, which we'll maybe talk about in the future. It's basically, it's good because of down tilt existing, but otherwise you don't really want to early down air at Yoshi. It loses to parry and it loses to armor. So instead, a lot of what you're going to want to do is stuff like this. So some people actually will tell you, actually before that, here's another common mistake. People will tell you do approaching laser instead of approaching aerial. Now, if you're not careful, the approaching laser also loses to parry. And that's because parry is also power shield. So if you just do a normal height laser, this parries and like combos into the hit, which tends to slide Falco out of range of actual CC punishes, and then Yoshi gets his, you know, knocked down at 0 down tilt, which is again potentially a wobble. And again, if you're at higher percent, the nair just knocks you down straight up, and then you could die to that, right? So approaching laser, not necessarily the answer. What is kind of the answer is approaching high laser, and the reason is that Yoshi's going to try to parry this, and Yoshi does not get to react over here whether this is going to be a high or a low laser. So as you're doing this laser over here, Yoshi goes for the parry, and then nothing happens. The laser's above Yoshi's head. Even if Yoshi tried to time this, you know, correctly, quote unquote, it cannot parry a high laser. It goes above his head. And then Yoshi jumps, and Yoshi jumps into the laser, which means Yoshi can no longer armor. But even if Yoshi could armor or get the armor out based on how the timing works, you can just double shine. And the second shine would hit Yoshi after breaking the armor. So this sequence is generally very stable against parry and armor based defense. Yoshi can try to outplay this with something like a forward tilt or a down tilt. So if Yoshi's just sitting there and chooses to, instead of parry, do a move, you can defeat Falco approaching high laser. Just note that Yoshi does not specialize in having a hitbox out in place for a while. This is kind of hard to do because Yoshi's forward tilt is not out for very long. It's kind of like trying to, you know, use a move that's only out for a couple frames. It's like sitting there and trying to shine an approach, right? As Falco, we don't really like just sitting there and shining an approach because it's not out for very long. We don't have, as Yoshi, a Marth Nair or a Falcon Nair, right? So this is kind of like a common play pattern where what Yoshi wants to do is counter hit you with the parry. This is a very difficult to react to approach. You can all even skip the high laser and just do the running double shine straight up. Just running at Yoshi is pretty hard to deal with, as we're going to talk about in kind of the next sections as well. But just generally speaking, this is a very common play pattern. Approaching high laser, double shine, pretty good. Next up, we're going to look at armor a little bit. This is a common play pattern. You're shielding, the Yoshi jumps. You see the Yoshi jump, you're like, ooh, free back air. And Yoshi armors the back air, potentially wobbles you at 0, right? So this is one of those things where, like, if you get armored in the air, you're getting counter hit in the air. You can't CC this nair even at 0. Yoshi gets his knockdown up tilt at 0% into jab reset, and then it's party time, you know? So it's very important not to sort of do the early aerials with either approaching nair or down air, but also drift in back airs are also a huge problem. There's a couple solutions to this, luckily. One of them is going to look like this, and it's if you do retreating auto cancel back airs, very difficult for Yoshi to hit you even if he armors it. Sometimes Yoshi can get close enough. If Yoshi gets close enough, then this back air can be armor and then up aired into you, probably. But in order to get close enough, you have to not already have the back air out. So you kind of back air retreating preemptively whenever Yoshi is putting in a position to try to get to you. And this is just a pretty consistent wall that Yoshi will struggle to get to. And you give up very little space in order to do this. So, like, in order for Yoshi to walk you to the corner and then corner pressure you like a normal character would, Yoshi has to win a lot of outplays. This is very difficult to sort of like exploit, right? So it's a very stable way to be like, I'm going to hold my ground against this grounded based Yoshi play. And if Yoshi chooses to leave to go to platforms, you immediately switch to 0.1 anti-platform stuff, right? But this is a common way to just say, like, I'm going to shut down this Yoshi and then, you know, play from there. There's also more direct answers. So one of the things about it, you can see I'm over here. Yoshi jumps and is expecting to have to armor a back air. If you just wave dash in, Yoshi has to commit. The armor tends to be an option select. They kind of double jump in and then aerial at a delay. And it's meant to, like, do the aerial or armor and then do the aerial. And so you'll see that in this case, Yoshi's doing the same sort of timing of nair, but instead of armoring something, he's just nairing into a crouching Falco. And then you just get CC shine. Yoshi really struggles with CC. I think it's one of the hardest things about the matchup as a Yoshi player. I was always like, Falco at 0 is Thanos. So it's like up air and nair both get CC shined. All the ground moves except down tilt do not knock down. Down tilt knocks down at 0, but it doesn't knock down if you're crouching. And down tilt does not always convert. Sometimes it just sends you across the stage and you grab the ledge, and then Yoshi does his ledge dash. Falco does his ledge dash. So this is a spot where it's like, just by wave dashing around and doing running shines and wave dash shine, Yoshi struggles to find a true hit. The main hit that he has that really beats CC is forward air, and forward air is just reactable. You can shield it on reaction if you're just running or crouching or something. So if forward air is the only thing you're worried about, Yoshi is not playing with Yoshi's strengths. Forward air means that Yoshi cannot use armor and parry because he's locked in this like long animation, and suddenly you're playing a different character. If Yoshi's spamming forward air, you're allowed to approaching nair him, right? Because he can't armor anymore. So it's like forcing the Yoshi to start spamming forward air is pretty good. CC shine and retreating AC back airs really shut down a lot of this like normal offense that Yoshi likes to do. That's actually most of it. With parry and armor, it's like Falco really has to just fight the urge to drift in bear and drift in down air, and then Falco's kind of chilling, you know? So there's still a couple more. This is kind of a complicated matchup. We're going to move on to number 3 here, which is Yoshi's pressure. This is another common thing where it feels way better than it is. If you get like really stunted on by Yoshi, you might see something. Oh, This is the wrong slide. So it starts at 1. So the first thing to note is that this is a very common mistake from Yoshi. If Yoshi ever does an aerial drifting into you like this, a low DJC nair, this is bad pressure. Yoshi in this spot right in front of you does not have a shine and is in an awkward spot now. This is a spot where like Yoshi thinks he's doing shield pressure, but actually he's trapped in here with you now. He has to worry about shield grab and instant down air out of shield, and even just shine out of shield or roll. So like in order to cover all these options, Yoshi tends to feel the need to do something immediately. It's very common for Yoshi to try to frame trap you with the ground move. So if he does nair forward tilt, it would have beaten a shield grab, but you can just hold shield. And part of the reason you can hold shield is Yoshi doesn't really have a grab. It's one of Yoshi's like fundamental weakness. Yoshi has a grab that gets rest punished if he misses, right? So Yoshi's not often going to do grab in the middle of shield pressure, like just nair grab. It's way too slow and it's rest punishable, you know? So in this case, this nair is like such bad pressure that you either want to swing immediately and punish it. Sometimes you can like option select CC grab, like grab CC grab, especially if you're at low percents. I mentioned Falco at 0 is Thanos, right? So we can just grab, tank the forward tilt, grab or shine or down tilt or whatever. Or you just shield one more beat. Because there's no grab threat, Yoshi's either going to commit to something bad like this, the forward tilt is now unsafe on shield, directly punishable, or Yoshi's going to do another aerial, which does not directly threaten you. It's not like Peach, who has a direct threat of grab versus down smash, and they both cover everything together. Yoshi isn't covering hold shield directly. He has to cover hold shield in the long term with multiple aerials and stuff like that. And this aerial is scary. So it's like you have the threat of acting out immediately or acting delayed. And it's like Yoshi has this losing 50-50 as the one initiating the shield pressure. Just make sure that you don't get scared. If the Yoshi's jumping into you, it's kind of fake pressure right here. So this is probably favoring Falco in the long term. What is pretty good pressure is something like this. If Yoshi runs up and does the nair straight down like this, he has time to dash back. Once he can dash back out of range of the grab, this is kind of the spots where Yoshi actually has pressure. You'll see that it's very difficult now for Falco to pick the right place. So Yoshi has frame advantage over here. He can be as good as +1 off this nair, which is enough time to get out of the way of stuff. And then Yoshi is threatening to jump back in and armor whatever you do, or do some sort of cross-up aerial. So, or repeat the sequence. This is very common, like nair, armor up air into like the nair in place again. And he can kind of like have actual pressure sequences when he gets the good nair. Keep in mind, in order to do this nair, he has to run this close to you. Yoshi does not have a hitbox until he's here. You can think of Yoshi as an extremely short range character. So it's like Yoshi has to get really close to you and then gets good pressure. Because Yoshi would like to, it's very tempting as like lower level Yoshi players will try to approach you from this spacing. That means they're doing the drift in nair that I just said is very bad. So if they do the drift in nair over here, they're in trouble. If they run up to you, they're taking a risk by not having a hitbox out for a while. So it's kind of hard. Imagine you're just doing drift back AC back airs over here. Then how does Yoshi shove his way in there to get that good nair to start the pressure, right? So it's like, this is good pressure. Just be aware that it's kind of a difficult setup. Yoshi doesn't get to set up this pressure for free. Another common good pressure sequence. So these are two other sort of like good pressure sequences. It looks like this recording kind of broke. But this one is just like, it's just an example of two other nairs that are pretty good. So if Yoshi's going to do this jump into you, so over here, you might be tempted to just hold shield because of what I said before. Yoshi can now retreating nair. This is good pressure. It's nothing immediate threat. Like Yoshi could grab back in or aerial back in, but it's just pretty good. Yoshi's safe and did shield damage, right? The other one that's good is this cross up low nair. So this is like a really deep drift in nair, and then he gets to cross up, and then he gets to keep dash dancing and playing around whatever out of shield option you were going to do. I think this is a common like shield pressure sequence. Keep in mind, both of them kind of require a certain stage position. This is common shield pressure. So if you have, shield pressure, corner pressure. So if Falco's in the corner, he can run into you and do this nair. That's pretty good. He gets to hold on the center and pressure you. And then this is pretty good, like center stage pressure. He kind of crosses you up. He can't really do this in the corner, right? Because then he's just cornering himself for no reason. So generally speaking, those are two pretty good nairs. Just respect these. Again, you can switch to light shield. You can hold shield for 2 more beats and you can roll. It's very difficult for Yoshi to kind of deal with full hop and roll and hold shield versus like down air out of shield, back air out of shield, shine out of shield, unless Yoshi's doing the ground moves. If Yoshi's doing the ground moves, you just exploit it and then kill him. Lastly is the egg. And I just want to kind of mention, looks like I didn't, oh, maybe that's what my recording was. Yeah. But I just want to kind of show that like, basically the egg has the exact same timing every single time. It's not like a grab that gets like the higher percent they are, the longer it takes to mash out. The egg is the exact same mash every time. If you learn it, you can literally do one circle every button once and then get out. Some people like to like down air out of this every time. So I'll kind of like do 1 circle and a half and then down air like this. This is like a very quick way to down air out of it. You can also learn the timing to waveland out of of it like this. It's kind of like every button once, and then you like input a waveland. I'm not super good at it, and I don't think it's that good with Falco anyways. This is something Kadoran did with Marth at one point that I thought was really cool in the set, and I mentioned it wasn't that effective, but like it's like part of the mix up, right? At the very least, just make sure you practice one time, just like doing it a little bit. Just know that you can mash out at the same timing and not accidentally side B or double jump every time, because sometimes you're going to get side B'd off stage and you don't want to instantly air dodge, double jump, or side B and kill yourself. So I just see it a lot where like Yoshi's will egg lay a Falco in center stage, and then the Falco will side B off stage and kill himself. So make sure that doesn't happen. This I mentioned this here because it's kind of part of Yoshi's shield pressure. Like I mentioned, Yoshi doesn't really have a grab. Egg lay is kind of a grab. It's like the command grab. It's pretty good. If you have very good defense out of it, Yoshi doesn't even get to do a single nair, because if Yoshi tries to do a single nair on the egg, you break out, down air him, true punish him. So that means Yoshi's only doing 7% with this, which is not that bad if you have good defense. Because keep in mind, you're also invincible out of this. So like Yoshi will get you out of, will hit you in the egg. As soon as you're out of the egg over here, it's like you're invincible for like 15 frames or something. So he literally is giving you Galint in exchange for 7%, you know? So not too bad to get hit by this, but it is part of Yoshi's pressure. And then finally, this is going to be my longest video yet by far, is going to be the ledge options. So this is going to be Yoshi 3. So this one over here is, let's go back to plot 1. So this is going to show just like eggs. This is kind of like the most common thing. Let's reset the save state here. So I'm going to show just a bunch of ways to kill the eggs and then show that you can down smash them. So just know that the egg stall is never fully invincible, even if Yoshi's frame perfect, and that the eggs can always be destroyed, especially with aerials. Doing it with ground moves can be risky. Like if you up tilt this like this further away, it can be a little risky. Sometimes you get stuck in the up tilt and a second egg can hit you right away. The further away you are, the more annoying the eggs are, because the eggs have time to travel, and then Yoshi has already frame advantage and time to set up the next egg. What you want to do is be very close to Yoshi and just destroy the eggs this close if possible. These auto cancel back airs will never ever lose to the egg. Even like the little crotch hitbox over here will like destroy the egg. Like you can't, like the foot will destroy it and the crotch will destroy it. You're never going to get poked or anything. So this is an extremely safe way to destroy the eggs. If Yoshi's high percent, this bear spam is so hard to deal with, because Yoshi will double jump armor back on. It will break the armor and send him off stage. So you're dealing with every egg and the eventual non-invincible ledge dash or double jump armor through. It all kind of loses to this. So this is a very common thing. And then you can down smash or forward smash or dash attack to cover the actual egg stall itself. So once you're close, any one of these, I could have just forward smash or down smash and it would just kill Yoshi. So definitely like get comfortable with this. Do not retreat. If Yoshi starts shooting eggs and you retreat to center, this is exactly what Yoshi wants. I promise you, Yoshi's breathing a huge sigh of relief. Not only are the eggs harder to deal with the further you are away, but also you're just letting Yoshi back for free, and that's a character without a ledge dash. You got to exploit that. Number 2 is going to be, what did I do number 2 here? Oh yeah, just shine. No, that's not correct. I guess we go back to slot 1 for this one. So for slot 1 over here, I broke my recordings. I'm just going to show slot 1 over here and slot 2 over here. That's what I wanted. So he's just going to do this. No. Okay. Well, man, this is so bad. Okay, well, I'm gonna manually do these. So for the second thing I wanted to show was that you can kind of shine the eggs. Shining the eggs was always okay, and eventually will hit Yoshi. And that's because Yoshi's not invincible. So when Yoshi's kind of like ledge stalling over here, there is some frame invulnerability, and it's based on how the egg travels, like the trajectory of the egg. So every egg has a spot where shining it would work. So this first egg is probably like up here or something, or like slightly delayed. But every egg is like a different timing based on how it traveled, right? So you can just sit and shine if you want. This will guarantee you don't get poked, and eventually will probably hit Yoshi. This is a little too close, so you need to be like doing these, right? Or you can just do it far away and just be like, okay, look, I'm not going to deal with this, and your Yoshi will get bored and get out. So that's also pretty good. And then lastly is, and we're going to keep Falco on manual here. Do I do it? Okay, yeah. So over here, this is like, if you get too gung-ho about like, I'm going to kill the eggs like this, Yoshi has a rising invincible up air. So even if you try to like forward smash over here, it's like you might like destroy one egg, try to forward smash, but the invincible up air is going to beat the forward smash, because it's just like, he gets to cover this area right here with an invincible hitbox. It's not like a Marth forward air, which covers all the way to here. It covers only exactly here. So like, you can kind of like play this mind game by like spacing over here sometimes. So you're going to like destroy an egg over here and then space slightly further back. You also get to just forward smash this. So like, you can just forward smash this. If you do it fast enough, you get Yoshi jumpless, and then Yoshi's just dead. So this up air is a big risk, but like Yoshi has to take a risk with the up air or take a risk with the egg. So it's like not a very fun position to be for Yoshi. At low percents, it's kind of hard to stop Yoshi from just double jump armoring to here and then wave landing. landing. So just kind of let that go. But for the most part, it's like if he's at 80%, he's probably dead on the ledge. It's very hard to get off. So I think that's going to cover basically everything. Sorry for that little slip up in my recording at the end, but that's how the sausage is made. You know, we're 24 minutes in. I'm not going to start this recording again. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to start all the low tiers now. So peace.